welcome to the SnoWest Show presented by Trails West RPM. You can go to trailswesttrailers.com and spec out your next trailer, gooseneck, bumper pole. You get the 20-foot. You can put 3 sleds in a 20-foot trailer, and then in our 28-foot gooseneck RPM that we run, we can fit 6 in there. And then you can get the Mad Int Special, which is like the super long, which I think he sticks like 8 sleds in there. So you can spec your Trails West RPM out to do whatever you want for the upcoming season or for the rest of this year. But we've got an awesome show here today. We're talking 2028. We've got the
sevens.
Well, I'm talking 2028s. The rest of you are talking 2027s. we got a great show here lined up today. We're talking 2027. I'm already way ahead of myself. 2027 Ski-Doo. We just got off the mountain, literally just yesterday. Got off the mountain riding the sled that's sitting here in front of us. This is the 2027 Ski-Doo Freeride. We're going to get into all the changes and updates on that sled. You can probably already see a lot of stuff that's happened there. We're going to talk Summit Expert, get into that. But before we start all of this, let's go around and I'll introduce everybody. So we're excited to have Fred, the man, in the studio. You've come all the way up to Idaho Falls, Idaho.
Yep.
Just to hang out in the studio with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No, thank you. I came to your place.
Yes.
Over in Quebec, and now you've been out to our place here in Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
Fred Desjardins, Ski-Doo Engineering Director, or as you just said, Ski-Doo. Fred Desjardins, Ski-Doo.
Exactly.
Engineering Director, you've been with BRP Ski-Doo for quite a while, right? You've worn a lot of different hats.
Yes, and I've been with them 34 years. It will be 35 this August. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. What are some of the projects that stand out that you've worked on that were really fun?
When I started, we were working on that new F2000 chassis, the triple cylinder area, and the Summit, the green Summit with the high altitude compensator. So this was my start back in the day, and I still remember this as it was yesterday.
So 94.
It was model year 93. I started
93. Yeah.
I started in 91, and I was working on 93, 94 already from 91.
93 was a kind of a mid-season release. 583. And then there were the 94s and the 95s in that
F2000
chassis, and then we switched to the S2000 chassis.
Yeah, in 95, 96.
96.
Yeah, with the 670. It was, I would say, the first real mountain sled. The green one had the intention was specialized, but the S2000 made the thing on the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I remember that era. That's when I was getting into snowmobiling, and I was racing in the 90s, mid-90s, racing snowcross and cross country. And I worked with SnoWest and just kind of helped Steve Janes and the guys back at that point. And I remember when that F2000 Summit came out, and it was, we made a huge deal out of it because this is what SnoWest had been pushing for, was that dedicated segment in the sport of deep snow mountain sleds.
Yeah. Not
just long track trail sleds, because that's what we grew up riding. I spent the early 90s riding, the long track version of the trail sled, and when that Summit came out, it was cool for the sport. It wasn't necessarily great in deep snow. It was good, but not great. But you're right. When that S2000 came out, the 670 came out, you were riding one a month ago. Yeah. Ripping one through the snow. And that changed everything for me.
Oh, yeah. The S2000 had the first lug track, It was not the full, the traditional full lug track with 1 inch.
Yep.
We went, I think, 1 inch and 3/4, something like that, with different lug along the track. It was like a wow at the time.
Yeah.
And also the panel, not the panel, but the hood and the bottom pan were narrower than the F2000. Yeah, that was starting to be interesting.
Yeah, and the F2000 had the 2 external shocks on the rear.
Yep.
That kind of got hung up in the tunnel.
Correct.
In your trench.
Yep.
And so that's why that one was kind of struggled. But man, when that S2000 came out, all the suspension was up inside the track, and that thing just dominated. It was pretty fun.
Yep.
And like you were out on that thing just a couple days ago, Steve.
Yeah, and I was telling my dad, I'm shocked where I can take this. I think I could outride a lot of my friends on that. And the 670 is a monster.
Yeah.
Like so much mid-range. Like that was a cool platform. That's what that green one really holds a special place in my heart, because we were the Ski-Doo dealer back then, and so when I was like pretty little, I rode a 670 Summit, like a green one. So we're gonna keep that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to find a good clean one of those. I had one for a while just for nostalgia, you know. Mm-hmm. I bought a burned down one, and we did a project for the magazine and rebuilt the motor, and then I just turned around and flipped it and sold it. But I kind of wish I would have hung on to it. But I don't know. They're probably more fun to think about and remember than they are to actually own and maintain and ride.
Yeah, correct. So if you flip them, okay, it's you will have a fun time to restart them. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the carburetor at the time, it was 40 and eventually 44. Yeah. So
And a primer.
yes.
Don't ever bring the primer back, Fred.
No, no, you needed to be a mechanic to start this engine. But
did.
once you knew how, okay, it was starting in a pull.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you had to be careful. I remember popping the hoods and shutting the fuel line off when you'd park in the mountains,
Yeah.
depending on what angle you were on the snow.
correct.
If you're going to be, shut off for a little bit. Yeah, you haven't lived if you've tried to get a primer 670 Rotax started in the middle of or a triple.
Yeah, there was no triple in the mountain. It was twin
but
cylinder with the rotary valve. Yeah.
But
yeah.
but going like the MXZ days,
Yeah.
because we had what we had, and we would take those into the mountains. So the Mach 1s would go into the mountains with the Summits.
Yeah.
Like you would just take them because you had them.
Yeah.
But that was probably a mistake. So next to Fred, we have Mathieu Hamel. You are future CEO of Skidoo.
Of Skidoo, yeah.
Skidoo project manager, Deep Snow.
Yep.
So you're responsible along with Fred, but this is your baby right here.
It is. It's my first official project from the ground, so pretty stoked with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you been with Skidoo?
3 years. I've been with BRP for 10 years. And the first day I dropped my resume at BRP, my goal was to go to Skidoo. That's what I wanted to do. I bought a Summit the first year, and I was like, this is what I want to do. So pretty happy to be here and doing that. So
Why didn't you get him going sooner? Look at that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may have had this thing like in 24, 25.
yeah, there's a lot of things that was, took from the 26X and Expert. Obviously, the free ride was, next on the list. So I had a parts bin that I could play with. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to develop for sure.
So this is kind of going to be this will be your S2000 670 Summit.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're sitting up there flying around on the CEO
Yeah.
plane, 25 years from now, 35 years from now.
Yeah, with a Rotax engine.
Yeah, you'll be pulling out your phone and like projecting up, into the air, whatever we're doing in 35 years from now. But pictures of this purple 2027 free ride showing everybody.
Yeah, I make sure the color was easy to remember. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I should have found some old photos of the S2000 and put it on this slideshow with here.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna find a lot on Google, but yeah.
No, we have a lot. We have boxes and boxes of slides.
Yeah.
When I get all this organized, I'm going to start pulling out some of the old slides and posting a lot more of that old content because it's just cool.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I got some of Fred testing on that thing.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you should. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool to
We
see.
want that.
Yeah.
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 Looks a bit younger, but
Yeah. Yeah. At the time we had more hairs. Yes.
A few more hairs. Yep. Yeah, there's a little of that going around.
Yep.
Steve Martin down there at the end of the table. 2003 Pro Open Snowcross champ?
2005.
2005.
Yeah.
2005 WSA Pro Open Snowcross champ down there at the end of the table. Do you miss that? Like, if you could, would you go back and race some more?
No, because I'm enjoying these new snowmobiles so much, and I feel like I did it, and now I'm on to this part, and I'm having the most fun I've ever had on snowmobiles.
Yeah. It was fun because I got sat down next to Elias last night at dinner, and we were sitting there talking, and he retired at Heydays last year.
Yep.
After 11. How long did he race?
He's 27. He started at 14. So yeah.
So long time. Championships, and I mean, same level, you guys.
Oh yeah.
But
well, he's like one of the greatest of all time, maybe. Different level. 5-time. He's amazing.
But you're both in that championship class.
Correct.
But we were sitting there. I'm like, man, do you just like? Does it piss you off that you can't race anymore? Like, do you want to go out there and race? He's like, no, I don't miss it at all. Like, I've never felt better knowing that I don't have to get ready and go race.
Yeah, and he what does he have to prove anymore?
Yeah, he finished on the top.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he used to be as tall as Ryan, but the sleds are so slim now.
He was getting into like the technique of that, like a lot of technical stuff, and he's like, because we were talking about the brakes, you know, and he just eats brakes for lunch.
Yes.
That kid, and he was talking about like he's smaller a little bit. And he's a tiny dude. He's like a Jeremy Martin out there, just a real small kid. But he's like, because I'm so small, I don't move a lot on the bumps, and so that's like an advantage.
The sled was wide open. It didn't matter. Like the sled would be swapping, or he'd just hit it. Like he would get a bad start. That's where I think what separates people that are good between good and great. Didn't matter where he started. He'd be fifth, and here he comes. The brake rotor be glowing through the frame, and then 2 laps later, he was half a lap in the lead.
Yeah, because he was talking about he's just like wide open throttle and half engaged brake everywhere he goes.
Oh,
and then you just kind of modulate the brake to just get the front end to do what you want. But yeah, just glowing red, just cooking rotors.
It was impressive what he did.
Yeah. Then over on here on this side of the table, we got legendary snowmobiler Tony Jenkins.
Oh.
We've told the legendary snowmobiler story before. Most people
King of shitholing.
Yeah, there you go. That's a better title. Yeah, lots of nicknames over here on this end of the table with Tony.
Yeah, I've had some fun in the past.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, and you, man, you can add guide to that too. You took our crew out yesterday. A lot of these shots right here.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to have a productive day, and especially with the new sleds, and wanted to make them look good.
You found winter for us.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Winter showed up.
Yeah.
We had to work hard for it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bumpy trail then.
Yeah, that's a ways getting in there.
Yeah. He kept Steve alive too, so that was good.
Yeah, you know, it's impressive. Steve is, 72 now?
Yeah. 54. Yeah, 72.
Yeah, no, having him there with us and watching, you know, I look back and he's just scratching his head watching everybody down in this nasty ravine and doing bow ties, and he's just like, I didn't realize snowmobiles were supposed to do this.
Dude, he rides so much. Like he rides way more than I do at 72. He rides way more than I do, and which is sad to say, but he's a snowmobiler. He's just a diehard at heart, you know. But he's had to learn probably a dozen different riding styles over the years, you know.
Yeah.
And he's had to learn everything from changing main jets and dropping needles to, you know, aftermarket. Whatever. You know, he's been through everything, and he's ridden.
Yeah.
He was in that era that created the mountain sled segment.
I'm sure the first sled he was riding, he has his knee on the seat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. He used to take a Bell helmet, open face helmet, and then he would put a football mouth guard across it. Like I'm not kidding. He rode that thing. He rode that helmet for years.
Does he still have it? Mm-hmm. Oh, he should hang it up in here.
We should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got it somewhere. And then he would wear like long johns and then Bermuda shorts over it, and knee pads. Like this was a spring riding outfit. Like spring riding back then was just like the time to go.
No, he's just awesome. Even yesterday, to have him there and be a part of it, interviewing us, he's great to have.
Yeah,
I think he got closer to the action yesterday than he normally does, because the zones we were going into, I mean, he had to go with us. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes he just hangs out around and away from us. So I think it was fun for him to see what the sleds were really doing, because I'm not sure he sees it as often.
Yeah.
So.
No, he used to be known as the tour guide from Hill, because we would take clients riding up in Island Park and show them and you know, Yahoo Shoot back there in the day. You know, so in the 90s on those sleds, you roll up to the top of Yahoo Shoot and, you know, everybody gets off their sleds and takes into the view. And you're like, okay, well, here we go. Then he wouldn't say anything. He'd just put his helmet on, fire up the sled, and just drop off the backside. And so I'd be standing there having to deal with everybody. He's like, "We're not going down that shit. Let's go that way. Can we go back the way we came?" Like, no, we're going that way. And then they would just be freaking out. So I would just fire up my sled and drop off. And then they don't know where they're going, so they have to follow you. But yeah, Steve was a lot of fun. Like that guy was a phenomenal rider. Still is a good rider.
He is. He didn't bat an eye at anything. We went through a few sections where, I mean, you know, you're in there and you're like really working hard, picking lines, hopping over logs and stuff. You look back and there's Steve just coming right behind you. And you're like, what the crap?
No,
not even thinking about it.
So.
I
I hope I can still start snowmobile at 72.
I hope I can too.
You just have to use the shot.
Oh, yes, we have the shot button.
Somebody's just got to do your first pull. Right?
Ask your wife. Ask your wife in the morning.
Maybe you could warm my snowmobile up for me.
Maybe you can get him like a drill, like a cordless drill set up, and he can just open his side panel and just spin the clutch just to warm it up, and then he's shot all day.
Yeah.
And then down there at the end of the table, SnoWest test rider Justin Stevens. The rest of the crew is actually still on the snow. Rhett and Bruce are out riding right now, hopefully. Still up in West Yellowstone riding. Brock had to come down and go to work. But yeah, it's been a good weekend, good productive weekend. But a lot of cool stuff to talk about, so let's get into that. You guys made some really significant changes to the Summit X for 2026. From 25 to 26, you took 14 pounds off of the Summit X. You went from a torsion spring rear suspension to the coil spring rear suspension.
Yeah.
You lightened up the tunnel. You shortened the tunnel.
Yeah.
And Matthew, you've got some charts over there
Yep.
showing the wheelie angle. We increased the wheelie angle by shortening the tunnel, and you've actually got a chart that shows that, being the engineer that you are.
Yeah, exactly. I asked the guy to brought statistic and just to showcase what we did, and so you can wheelie 7% more with that short tunnel. So it's a 129-inch tunnel on a 147-inch track. So it's a woody monster, and funny stats.
Can we get a T-shirt that says that? 7% more wheelie angle.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be great.
Well, let's start with the free ride. We'll get into the expert after that. But yeah, you for 26, you lightened up the Summit X, so I made that thing a phenomenal sled. Like, it just made it so much more fun, like really poppy, and just more responsive in the moguls and jumping, but also in the deep snow, like just more reactive.
Yep.
So we all kind of knew that the coilover was going to expand into other models. You come into 2027, and here's the coilover on everything. No more torsion spring.
Yep.
What's the thought process behind that?
At first, we wanted to, make sure we dial in the coilover with the Summit X. It was a lightweight initiative at first, just to make sure that we were reducing weight everywhere. For sure, coilover is lighter, but for us, it needed to be either as good or better. So we worked a lot on the whole calibration and kind of liked it, fine-tune here and there. And overall, I think we did great on 26 with the Summit X. So it was kind of natural to go for the whole lineup after. We had to, go through all of these sleds, make sure that they were, let's say, fitting within their DNA. Let's say the free ride, the expert, even the in-season. But it was about lightweight, but also that new, more reactive, feeling that really balanced the sled front and rear. So we felt great on it. We had good feedback, so it was just natural to go that way.
All the changes you made definitely actually reduced the weight numbers on the rear end, the tunnel and the suspension and the track.
The 154 suspension on the Summit X is the lightest 154 suspension on the market.
Yeah. And how much is that? Like 39.5 pounds, something like that?
You get me now. I don't recall the number by heart, but we are by a pound the lightest from the others. Yeah.
But yeah, so you physically reduced that weight number, but man, it makes the rear end of the sled feel lighter on the snow.
More dynamic.
Yeah. So like you're saying, you balance that out.
Yeah. I feel like especially this one, it really feels balanced either in the bumps and the snow. It reacts more like you expect that sled to react that way, and you can hit small jumps and bumps, and it just feels like a motocross. It just feels right, So
yeah. So take us through front to rear on the 2027 free ride. Every change that you made, what you had, 25, 26, and then the direction that you went with this 27. How long ago did you start this project? Just dive in on this thing.
So the first thing we did at the front is we went from 36 to 34. We had two goals for this project. The first was to maintain and improve the free ride capacity. So free ride is all about big jump, big chuck, big capacity. So we wanted to make sure that we've maintained that DNA. We wanted the front end to be super stable. Guys like Steve, they hit steep jumps and hard landing, and we wanted that sled to be planted and really efficient on that way. So moving to 34 for sure for us was something that we wanted to make sure that we get right. So we increased the sway bar diameter. So we have a heavier sway bar, kind of what we did for the Expert when we went from 34 to 32. That reduced the roll, basically, going up the trails and, overall when you're siding and stuff like that. So increasing the sway bar diameter fills the front end really planted and makes the whole sled easier to ride in the mountain.
And what did that increase to? You told me.
Yeah,
a
from
couple days ago.
7.1 to 8.4. So
Okay.
diameter in millimeters. So yeah, it seems like, small numbers, but it makes a big difference. When you do back and forth, it makes a big difference. So the second goal for that project was to make the free ride an easier mountain sled to ride all over the mountain. So it's good to have, capacity and stability, but at some point you need to go to that spot where you're going to do your jump and stuff. So we wanted to make sure that this sled is a easier all-around mountain sled and a better mountain sled as well. So going from 36 to 34 definitely was something we had in mind, and we've tested a lot with Steve. We sent some part to Steve so he can give us our feedback throughout a long period of time. We got good feedback from him. We adjust, what the comment he had as well. So that's the first thing we did.
Well, so what do you feel, Steve? Like going from the 36 to 34, just on the free ride specifically?
Well, just like he was saying, like it is a mountain sled at the end of the day, even if we're going out looking for big jumps. And so you might need to get or follow your buddies on an Expert or something. And the 36 was difficult to side hill compared to obviously a 34. But I didn't want to compromise the stability on big jumps. So that was big for me. So I don't think we lost anything, especially with that bigger diameter sway bar. I always just throw the sway bar end link in the toolbox and I never put it back on again. But with this bigger diameter sway bar, there isn't this like, I could always feel this small zone where the uphill side is working independent and it strokes like 1 or 2 inches and then it ties the other side together.
Like a spring effect?
Yeah, then it's deflecting if I hit a bump. But with this bigger diameter sway bar, I don't feel it anymore. I think the 32-inch, I keep the sway bar on, and this is be the second snowmobile that I will leave the sway bar end link on. I prefer it on. So, and I don't think you could have went from 36 to 34 first without rack steering, but now with twin link without addressing bump steer. Because sometimes when you land super heavy, you may not think you can feel bump steer, but I could probably watch someone land super hard without addressing bump steer. I'll be like, you just got thrown over the bars because the sled self-steered. Mm-hmm. So it's like all these little things that, like he said, we didn't want to take away from, or they didn't want to take away from freeride DNA by going from 36 to 34, and we didn't.
So what else did you do on that front end, Matthew, to accommodate that?
We changed the ski leg. So we have increased a bit the trailing. So it's just a bit easier to steer. It's got less steering effort, but it felt planted, it felt good. So just to reduce a bit the overall energy you spend throughout the day. Then what we did is we've put the upper forged aluminum arm to shave weight. Going from 36 to 34, we've reused the Summit upper arm. And then we've got the lighter weight S module, so we've dropped some weight there as well. Then cockpit-wise, we went for a shorter riser, so from 120 to 90 millimeters, and we have removed the strap and put a crash pad, so you got more clearance with your chest, doing wheelies and stuff like that. It feels good as well to have a lower riser. It's a rider preference for sure, but on that specific model, we thought it fits great, and just making more sense with what we want the sled to do.
So is that the lowest riser in the deep snow lineup?
Yep, it is.
And that's 90 millimeters?
90 millimeters.
And
yeah.
what's the riser on like the X and the Expert?
It's 120.
On both of those?
Yep.
Okay.
Then we got the super compact seat. So it's basically 1 inch lower than what we had in the past last year.
On free ride though.
On the free ride. So it's the same seat as the Summit X and the Summit Expert. Then we have on this length, so the 147, we have the short tunnel. So as I said, 7% more woody. So it's basically a 129-inch tunnel on a 147-inch track. It got the shorter heat exchanger as well. So the shorter heat exchanger was available on X and Expert last year. Now on the free ride, both 154 and 147. Then we've got the new track, so the new 147 by 3 inch with the 3.5 inch pitch, which is an industry first. Pretty stoked about that. It's I think it's a game changer for the industry. Having a shorter track with that much traction really change the way that you use a shorter track sled.
I was impressed with how much traction that gets for a 147.
It's pretty wild.
What surprises me is how manageable it is.
Absolutely.
Like in your head, you think like this thing was going to do backflips right out of the snow, and it will if you want it to. But you can mountain ride this thing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is there a downside to having that much traction, but that short of a rail?
No, I don't think so, because it has a limiter strap adjuster this year, and if I'm correct about this, like it's an inch longer or at one position longer in the long position, and then when you put it into short, it really acts like a 154. You can like technically tree ride this, and it's like you would think you would just stand on the rear wheels all day, but I cannot believe it. People are going to be shocked. I think this is the future of snowmobiling, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've talked about that before in other shows too. Like there's a movement to go in shorter rail, even though you've got more horsepower. Sleds are getting lighter and more powerful, but everybody's going to that shorter rail, and the riding style is changing. Like we're not doing like trying to get deep into the backcountry exploring. We're getting into good zones and then playing, and maybe that's a safety aspect a little bit. We're just trying to stay out of the stuff that might come down on us, but trying to reduce the avalanche exposure. But it's also just the fun factor. Like you've got that much power, and now you've got a chassis that can just sit there and you can whip that thing around and pop it up into the air and flip it around and we go in the other direction. And it's just because of the configuration like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also get to the zones that you want to get to without it being so wild that it's unrideable to get there, and because we were in some halfway decent snow this last couple of days, and if you wanted to bring the front end up and get loose, you could. If you wanted it to stay a little more planted, you could make that adjustment. So it's just great best of both worlds for a lot more playful sled.
Yeah, it was part of the strategy to have the limiter strap to make that sled more accessible. It's more versatile. So when it's super deep, you just put it on business mode, and then you can get the things done.
Explain the limiter strap. Right?
This is the Mullet sled, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, it started internally. We had chat about putting the limiter strap and just trying to explain what it does easily so everybody's understand. And it feels like that sled was so short, and with the long track it feels like a Mullet, and then we keep going on with the limiter strap and we make fun out of that. And at some point we were like, you know what, let's put a Mullet on that thing and call it business and party mode. We showcased that to Carl Kuster, for Action Shoot, and we were not even to that slide. He says we should call that party mode. I was like, just wait, just hang tight. We're gonna get there. And we showcased that. He was like, all right, that's great, that's good. So funny stuff that when you're passionate about what you do, it's when those little gem comes out. And
but see, this is what I love, having access to the engineers, Fred. Like we've talked about this before. Yeah. Like as my job as media is number one to sell sleds, sell products, sell snowmobiling, but also I want access. I want to show the industry Mathieu. I want Mathieu to get on here and talk about this project, his baby, this sled that he came up with, so they can say, oh, that guy gets it. Like that guy, he wants to go out then party. We're talking Mullet sleds. You know, that sled's got, you know, bull horns on there.
Yeah.
Like it's coming from this guy. You know, he's driving this new trend forward in the industry inside Skidoo. So,
Correct. See, it's always good to have new spirit in the group and new eyes, new ideas. It shake a bit the shack. So yeah. So when they come first with that idea of having a mullet, I said, "Bah."
You sure about this? I said, yeah, we need to get this done. And Fred was in, and we had to convince upper management as well at some point, you know, like, that's the thing. That's what we need to do, you know. And it came out great. So
let's talk about all the weight reduction, because, you know, Hey everybody, thanks for watching the SnoWest Show powered by Trails West RPM. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and check out all of our past episodes and get alerts on new shows. Real quick, I just want to say thanks to the great companies that support the SnoWest Show. Fly Racing is the #1 gear brand in Supercross and Motocross, and they bring that same product innovation to snowmobiling. Whether it's monosuits, helmets, boots, gloves, or goggles, Fly Racing has you covered for your snowmobiling gear head to toe. Check them out at flyracing.com or Fly Racing Snow on socials. And thanks to Deviant Ink for supporting the show. Head on over to deviantink.com and check out their custom wrap builder with their new interactive design tools that make designing and customizing wraps easy. Their new colorizer tool randomizes color combinations until you land on the look you love. Then try the design mixer tool to see all the Deviant Ink designs in the colors you've selected. Check it out at deviantink.com. And thanks to Tempest Optics. These goggles feature an automatic lens heating system that sets the bar for fog prevention. We wear them, so does Steve Martin and Tony Jenkins and a bunch of other riders. They have a huge assortment of lens options that are easy to swap, a lot of different color combinations, photochromatics. We get 3 to 5 rides on a single charge out of these, and they will stay charged for a very long time. No on and off switch to mess with, no external battery pack, no power cords. Just charge them and ride. Check them out at tempestoptics.com and on social media. We've seen EasyLink on trucks, snowmobiles, and UTVs for a while now. EasyLink connects your truck, your UTV, and your snowmobile with one device, making diagnostics, recalibrations, flash support, and factory functions easier than ever. One device, one platform, all your machines connected with EasyLink. See more at easylink.com. Ibex is your one-stop shop for clutching, tuning, intakes, and turbo performance for your Polaris, Skidoo, Lynx, and Arctic Cat snowmobiles. We've tested Ibex's clutching kits and found gains in mountain riding. Same goes for ECU tuning and their turbo kits for Arctic Cat 858s. Give your sled the boost it deserves with quality components from Ibex this season. Check them out at ibex.com or ibex_LLC on Instagram. Caliber Products has been the leader in trailer glides and snowmobile shop wheels for years, but did you know they also do flooring for trailers and shops, ramps, and a bunch of other accessories? One of the coolest things they offer is the Traction Ladder HD. This allows your track to engage with the ramp sooner for safer, more controlled loading on any sled deck ramp or bed loading ramp. Check out all the products Caliber offers at caliberproductsinc.com. Thanks for listening, and now back to the show. Not every sled needs to be light. You know, but in my experience, you know, 30 plus years doing this deep snow stuff, the lighter a snowmobile is, the better it does across the board. Until you get to the point where you're jumping 200 feet and landing on hard snow, then you need some added durability. So it's okay to have a little bit heavier machine. But that's exactly why the Freeride is heavier than the Summit X, because this thing's designed to go do something, ride the same mountain, access the same terrain, but you know, while a Summit X is kind of cruising down in the bottom of the creek bed or going through the meadows, Steve's up there on the Freeride jumping every possible log he can find and iron cornices and looping back around and just popping off those things doing 120 feet. You know, that's what that sled exists for. So, but making it lighter makes it a better sled. So it's 14 pounds lighter?
it is. It's 14 pound lighter. And we did reduce the weight, but as I said, we kept the Freeride DNA. We kept the rail reinforcement. You know, it's gonna be as robust as it was, but just better and lightweight. So we've shaved 14 pounds, and 8 is just the track. So we, from a 146 2.5 inch to a 147 3 inch, we've shaved 8 pounds just on that track.
And the 146 was a 286 pitch?
Yes.
And then this is a 3.5 pitch?
Yeah, exactly.
So you eliminate a lot of rows of lugs. Like that's where some of the weight's coming from.
Yeah, exactly. More spacing between lugs. It generates better traction, and overall it's just more efficient. And you get less mass to rotate, so it accelerates quicker. You get better track speed. So overall it's just better.
Is this basically the Expert track, just shorter?
Yeah, it's a 15 inch. The Expert is 16. So pretty much the same lug pattern, from the Expert.
So 8 pounds on the track. The rear suspension, how much lighter is that?
So the coilover is a 1.5 pounds lighter, but since we've put the limiter strap, it's minus 1 pound from the torsion spring. Then you've got the super short tunnel plus heat exchanger. This is minus 2 pound wet, so including the coolant, reduced coolant that we have. Then the ultra compact seat is 3/4 pound. The aluminum A-arm is 0.5 pound, and the twinling is 1.5 pound compared to the rack steering.
So the tunnel, just the tunnel material, is 1.25 pounds.
Including the
And then another 2 pounds of wet weight. Is that right?
So
Yes.
yeah, that's right.
That's correct. So there is a pound and a quarter for the material and another 2 pounds for the coolant.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
My big takeaway is 14 pounds lighter. I can't even keep up with this math.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive. It's very.
That's crazy.
I'm
Yeah.
impressed with
So-
the 8 pounds just out of the track. That's so much rotating mass that's
Yes.
gone.
Yeah.
Exact. Yeah. That sled there is a 515 wet. The way you weight them now in your show. But on that 515, you will have to add your belt that you put on, and so you're gonna see. I think it's 3 pounds for the belt, 2-3 pounds.
So this 147 wet weight, the ride weight, the way we weigh them,
515 plus the belt.
so it'll be pretty similar to the Summit X154.
Summit X154 is 511 with the shot plus the belt.
Okay.
With
so
the
we're-
small gauge. So
With the small gauge, yes. But
But it used to be, the free ride to Summit X used to be like a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
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 And now you've brought
Especially
that
in
down.
26, where Summit X was lighter, Freeride kept his
Right.
weight. So now we pretty much shift everything minus 14. So
What do you think of this, Tony?
It's an awesome sled. I hopped on the engineering one yesterday. That was an NA, and it really made me rethink, the future of where snowmobiling's going.
Where is that?
I can't tell you. When it comes out, you'll know.
So back to the front end, the S module, the lighter weight S module, that's a casting process,
yeah, it's a different casting process. It's basically tenor wall.
but it's stronger, or as strong or stronger?
As strong.
As strong
As
as the
strong
previous
but
one.
lighter. Yeah.
Did that S module go to the Expert as well?
Yep.
So all deep snow. What about the Edge and the Adrenaline?
They won't get it this year.
Okay.
Yeah, just spring.
Okay. So all 3 spring orders have the new S module.
Yep.
And then some of the other details we haven't hit on yet, like all 3 all 3 spring models also have the forged upper A arm.
Yep. New for the Expert this year, the 32-inch A-arm.
All right. Let's. Is there anything else on this one in particular, like technical wise, like?
Yeah, so we have the bigger wheel on the 147. So we went from a 200 to 220. Mainly to keep track tension when the suspension is moving. That we wanted to keep a good track tension and make sure that we're not ratcheting. So it helps always. It helps also on freewheeling. So it's a bit less drag. But the main purpose of that wheel was really to maintain a proper tension in the track when the suspension is moving.
Okay. So Steve, you've been on this?
Yeah.
he was running to get it when he first see it.
Yeah. If anyone ever stopped, I would just put my gloves on it. That's mine now.
Just reserved.
Yeah.
So you've kind of you ride everything, but you are kind of a free ride guy.
Yeah.
And Elias said it really well at dinner last night too. He was like, he's from Norway, right?
Yep.
He's like, back home we don't see summits because everybody jumps, and it's a different snowpack. It's a harder snowpack, so the landings are harder, the bumps are harder, everything. But he's like, you don't see very many summits in Norway because we all just go out and jump. And yeah, you can jump a summit, but a summit isn't made for jumping. This is made for jumping.
Correct.
So this has the heavier, the KYB 40 shock package. So kind of more of a supercross bike setup.
Yeah.
And that's your style,
Yeah.
Steve?
Yeah. Exactly. like the 50% stiffer valving that we got in 24, I like it everywhere. Not even jumping, but side hilling, going down the trail. And I'm like so addicted to this overall shorter platform. That's what I really love. I love being able to like side hill it. You get treed out, and then I can pivot turn it like a dirt bike and just go the other direction. I don't have to do this crazy maneuver that sled. I could just turn it around and go the other way. And then I could be riding by something. Oh, I'm going to jump that. And then the sled does it. Great. And then with this shorter package and the stiffer valving, it feels like a mod Snowcross sled did 20 years ago. Better, in fact. You know what's funny? We have this Rev, and then we put like 2009 RS 600 shocks on it. And I was riding, and I'm like, this thing is so soft. Like, we must have put Summit shocks on it. But those are RS shocks. But I'm used to riding this, that it's like a more aggressive package than I raced 20 years ago.
So if there's somebody out there watching that is just more of a, not a casual mountain rider, but more of a Summit X rider, and they're like, well, I want to try that. I'm going to get one of those this year. Like, what will they expect to feel different? What will they not be able to do that they could do on an X? What will they be able to do better that they couldn't do on an X?
It just depends on what you're looking to do, but I'd say your average Summit X rider, they're going to notice how stiff the suspension is right out of the box. They're going down a bumpy trail. And then the DS4 is an aggressive ski. So it's super precise, but it requires more steering effort. When I get on a Summit X, like I always think about when I ride with Tony and I jump on his Summit X, it's like almost relaxing to get on it. It's like,
they're the easiest.
Oh yeah, I can just like, I feel like I'm floating through the clouds on that thing. And then you're going to use way less energy on a Summit X for sure.
Yeah, for big mountain riding, the Summit X is hands down my favorite setup. But you know, big bumps, you know, whatever you want to hit, this is the sled to have.
Yeah, that's
But-
send it.
Yeah, but
Send
going
it
from a
mindset.
Summit X to a free ride, in my opinion, is going to be black and white.
Because in the deep snow Skidoo DNA, which I like that categorization. Like you guys cleaned that up quite a bit this year.
Yeah.
You know, so you have
Agile.
adrenaline, which is so you have three DNA categories.
Yeah.
X, expert, free ride.
Correct. So we have agile, precise, and send it. Let's say. Yeah.
Okay.
Capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the the base model in season adrenaline is
Yeah.
a Summit X.
Correct.
Yep.
So in 27, the adrenaline will be having the Summit X DNA. The Edge will have the Summit Expire DNA. So you can go and walk in the showroom in season and decide whether you want an X or an Expire feeling. So you can have both. Adrenaline mean X and Edge Expire. So
Yep.
You know what I like about our Edge package?
yeah.
That we're the only manufacturer that has a turbo available to a person that wants to buy an in-season model.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It is. It is. And this year in 27, they will be all Coilover. Yeah. So they will all have reduction on weight. So the entire lineup will be lighter.
So and we've had the conversation before. Most people go to the expert. Like that's the biggest category of the three,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Do you see though riders that just because they can, you know, we're trying to pigeonhole people into the correct category that they should be on, but on the other side they're just like, I don't care. Like I want an X this year. Well, I want a free ride this year. Like I just want to try it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, okay, you put your money where you want, but I think we are hammering, if I may say this, since 23, the three categorization, and it's growing now in our network. So the people start to recognize that the X is an agile, the Expert is precise, and the free ride is the full capacity vehicle. And as the guy explained earlier, now the free ride with the modification on the front end and the rear end, it's more like a mountain sled than just a big mogul vehicle. So yeah, and the Expire is the vehicle we use to testing or to touch the market with, and I think our Expire customer like it.
Yeah.
To be on the edge, you know, first ever sled to be S34, S32, and then so on. So this is our lab.
Let's switch over and talk about that. So the 2027 Expert, you'll see it on the pictures behind us here, bright orange, is one of the spring order colorways.
Correct. You can have the X or the Expert orange, and also both of them in black, and the third color is
Airy blue.
Area blue, yeah. In the photos you're seeing back here, I think it's just the Expert that we had in orange. So
Yep.
that's what you'll be seeing there. But the Expert for 27 got a handful of changes and updates too.
Yep.
You want to run through that, Matthew?
Yeah, sure. So we've put the coilover on the Expert as well, with the piggyback chuck. So it's a different rear arm, different shock as well. The shock was upside down. Now the reservoir is at the top, and the adjustment knob used to be, quite not easy to access. Now it's super easy to access.
But it's the same shock, the exact same shock
No,
body?
it's a new chuck. It's a
Okay.
new
It's
chuck
a
to fit the coilover.
Pro 36, all right?
Pro 36, yeah. It's the reservoir, the casting is the same for both the Freeride and the Expert, but the tube is different. So 36 for the Expert and 40 for the Freeride.
Okay.
Then we have the forged front aluminum A-arm, so 32 inch, and we've got the S module, so 4 pounds lighter in 27, but over 2 year it's minus 12 pounds.
And then you have kind of two rear suspensions, correct?
Exactly.
So you have T-Motion lockout on
Yep.
the Freeride and Expert,
Yep.
and T-Motion X,
T-motion. Yeah.
or just T-Motion on the
Yeah.
Summit X.
Yeah.
And so that the Summit X still has that pivot on the rear arm,
Exactly.
so that it can flex, and it has the flex edge track.
Yep.
And then you go up to the Expert and the Freeride, and you get the lockout rear suspension, which I told you, like, one of the first things I said
Yeah.
was, like, there might be a little confusion there on lockout. Does not have anything to do with the rear track shock.
No.
It just means that the rear scissor arm does not flex.
Exactly.
Like
No,
It's
no,
locked.
it's
rigid
not
skid.
pivoting.
Yeah. Not pivoting laterally. But the Freeride to Summit X, that's basically the same rear suspension, just rail braces on the Freeride, KYB 40 shock package.
Exactly.
Everything else is pretty much the same.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Same geometry. Yeah, the rear arm is different, but same rail configuration.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the Expert also got the new bulkhead, the S module.
Yep. Yep.
What else did you do the front end on the Expert?
We did the A-arm, so forged 32 aluminum A-arm.
And it maintains S32.
Yep.
So it still has twin link, and it's
Exactly.
basically
Twin links.
same thing that the 26 had,
Yeah.
just the forged upper A arm.
Exactly. So, and the Freeride got the twin link as well. And the main difference from the rack to the twin link is the overall stiffness of the less free play we have in the steering system. So it's a different steering column. So we've measured it. It's about 60% more less free play from the twin link to the rack. So you don't have, when you're doing a side hill, let's say, and you have input on your skis. Some of it, like in the rack steering configuration, there's free play, and even if your handlebar is not moving, the ski might move a bit. Going to twin link, everything is tied up, and you don't get that flex anymore. So that was part of what made the Expert 32 with the twin link a better sled. It tracks straight, so you're gonna have that feeling on the Freeride as well.
So what do you feel on the Expert, Tony? You've been riding. How do you describe that S32 to people?
It's a learning curve, but I'm really enjoying the 32 because I find myself more in the neutral position rather than wrong foot forward. But it reacts really quickly. It side hills really well. It's a really fun, quick, agile mountain sled.
What are you feeling, Justin, when you ride that? Because you've been up there testing that, and then you spent quite a bit of time on it last year.
With the Expert?
Yeah, the S32.
Yeah, I loved. I think, like Tony said, you can override it really quick at first if you're thinking you got to ride it like you do some of your other sleds. But the one thing that I noticed that I liked the most was the rider position was very, very easy. Like, I think a lot of times we feel like we got to roll that sled like tight into the mount and kind of maintain that side hill. It almost seemed like you could kind of just keep it out, stay super flat and comfortable, and the sled stayed flatter across the mountain. It was really impressive. And then, of course, the way those front skis moved through, bumps or crossing old tracks or anything like that was much better. A lot less bump.
So when did you start developing S32? And this came up last night too when we were talking with the whole team.
Yeah, we start to think about the S32 once we did start to talk about the Gen 5.
Which was
So
10 years ago?
Not 10 years, but I would say 7 years maybe. Yeah, and our goal then was to be narrower. If you recall back then, okay, 10 years ago, that there was a kind of a hype around the snow bike. And one of the things that the snow bike people did like is to go across a steep hill and almost on a neutral position without having to put too much effort. And we said maybe this is something we need to touch, okay, to go narrower and be more neutral going across a hill in side hilling, so you don't have to be fully on the side and you keep better traction too, because your neutral point is less pivoting, so you have more track on the snow. So so we went and we tested some different front end and realized that there was a direct link with the maneuverability. So then the goal was to narrow the rest of the vehicle to make room for the S32 and not to panel out.
So part of that progress was Gen 4, last year of Gen 4 on the Expert. Let's try out the S34.
Correct. It's not always technique, okay, when you come out with something. It's also perception. So we said, let's use the last year of the Gen 4 to touch the market with the S34 and see the reaction of the people. It took some very long to go from 39 to 36, okay? Mm-hmm. So we were the first one to be 36, then said 34, are we going to, what would be the perception? And we did not want to shock. So we used the Expire to fit in. And at the end of that winter, the people, our ambassador was saying, that's the way to go. So we knew what was coming, okay? But
So you had all this planned out, and then in the background, as you released the last Gen 4 Expert with the S34, in the background you have Gen 5 ready to go.
Correct.
And at the same time you're testing S32, which is going to come out in another 4 or 5 years.
Yep. Yeah, we want to give the time to people to acknowledge the capacity. It's not like if the fleet of vehicle is changed year over year, okay? So you need time to introduce something on the market so it goes and people know about it. So the goal was not to rush, to go 36, 34, 32 and trickle down this in 2 or 3 years. So, and that was the sequence we decided to do. Yeah.
Well, I can remember when the 34 came out in the Gen 4, and everybody was just mind-boggled, like, oh, how could you do that? Like, that's too narrow.
Yeah.
And now we're 34 on a free ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gen 4 to Gen 5, the bodywork got how much narrower, would you say?
This is something we knew by heart 4 years ago, but I would say it's almost 3 inch.
3 inches narrower?
Yeah. It was a good inch and a half each side. So the footrests were narrower, so you can fit your boots. There's not much gap. So we went narrower there, narrower everywhere, the exhaust. And the panel, what we wanted to have is when you stand on your vehicle, you can see your spindle, even with S32. So we're pushing on design, so they design us a vehicle that we can see everything. Because, when you go in the trees, personally, I like to see my parts, okay, when I move.
Makes sure they fit.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, it is impacting the entire design of the vehicle to go narrower. Yeah. So now if the bar goes, you can go.
Yeah, which is kind of a stain that used to go around the snow bike world.
Correct.
If you can fit your front ski through, you're going. The rest of the bike's going to follow.
Correct. Yep.
What do you think about S32 there, Steve?
I love it. It took me, the only adjustment I have is like reminding myself I can stay neutral, because I think I'm hanging off the side of the sled as a crutch at this point, because and I like that on like anything wider. I feel like the sled is like hanging off the side of a steep side hill, but an S32 will just like, it feels like you're in the neutral position. You have more track in the ground and it's flat.
Yeah, you don't have to take that expert with the S32
And bury the handlebars
throw it
into
onto edge to start your side hill.
No.
You just drive into it, and you try to like that's my problem because I'm a little taller, so I got a lot more leverage up high. And so initially when we were doing that sneak peek ride on it,
Told you not to overstick it.
yeah, I was like throwing it into the hill, and all of a sudden I'm just laying on the ground, and it took quite a while to just not do that and just drive.
It's like when we got turbos, like the sled will go up. Now it'll go up hills in deep snow that you don't want to come back down. And with S32, it's going to side hill stuff that if you look down, then you're going to scare yourself.
Yeah.
I do think it improved the attitude of the sled in a side hill too, to keep it more linear, which is, I think, a huge improvement and been one of the key aspects of that 32. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just been. How has the market reacted to it now that we're a full season into it?
We have a kind of a legacy with the X-Pi. We launched it in 2020 with the short tunnel, okay, and with new spindle and the limiter strap adjuster. And from there, it's like if the people start to follow us, okay, and each time we came in with something new on the X-Pi, it was always a gain and a gain. So it was always a winning situation. So now we throw on the S32, and our, let's say our client said, so far, okay, when I go from an X-Pi to another X-Pi, I already had an improvement. So they follow us.
Yeah, and anybody that I've talked to that has bought the new 32 for 26 that had the expert for 25 is they're already wanting, they love it.
Yeah.
There's nothing but good being said about it.
And it's funny, you've created this little segment in the market to where people are like willing to be
The tester.
test mule.
Yeah, but that's funny you said that like it, but trust me, we don't go in the market without having done our...
Yeah, you guys have tested it for years and years.
Yeah.
Right now, what are you working on, 2010, 2011?
I don't know.
You don't have to tell me what you're working on. You're more than 2 or 3 years ahead.
Oh, yeah.
In planning and development.
Yes.
So you validated this, you've tested it, you've taken it all over to different snow conditions and ridden it before you even show these guys, before Steve sets foot on the thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then you put it in the market though, but it does give people that, they can say, yeah, that's kind of an experimental sled. I'll buy that, just for the fun of it.
Yeah, without giving all the tricks, what we do when we are looking very far, it's we go module by module. Okay, so we can see benefit from something. Okay, but we don't know. Maybe eventually this something will be matched with another thing. Okay, yeah. So
I wish the customer understood how much work goes into the most simple thing.
Yeah.
Like it takes forever for this to be out.
The customer's never the test mule, that's for sure. They know it works as soon as the consumer sees it. Like 32 works. That's why it has twin link.
yeah.
Like it was, but you have to let them ride it for so they believe it. Like when riding the S32 down a bumpy trail, then getting on an S34 with no twin link on it. That's where I was like, this is crazy because the S32 was easier to ride down the trail. Not only could you side hill the wall of the shop, but you could like ride it one-handed down a bumpy trail.
Oh yeah, the twin link is it's so stable down the bumpy trail. But when it first came out, the 34, I can remember it was going all over the place.
Well, they're not necessarily a test mule on does this work from an engineering standpoint. Like you guys have taken care of that. Like you've engineered this thing for years. And like I said, I think I said 2010, but you're working on like probably 2030 stuff at this point. But in a way, they are a test mule because now it's in the hands of the people that are paying Skidoo money to experience it.
Yeah.
And will it be received the way that you expect it to go?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, our engineering team loves this. Our ambassadors love this. Our feedback has been good. Do the people that buy the snowmobiles, are they going to like it? Like, in that sense, they're still
That's what
yes.
really matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, and some improvements are more difficult to sell than others. I mean, I remember when we first saw the 32. I mean, even to stand over it, you're like, that was kind of my first thought. I'm like, okay, so you're running down a trail and you're just like bouncing left and right. And then as soon as we got on it, we like go ripping down a bumpy trail. And I mean, it felt way more stable than anything I've ever been on, and so it was just so impressive. So maybe that's what Ryan's saying, like your initial viewpoint as a consumer is to stand over top of that and kind of question, you know. So it takes a minute to adopt certain things, I think, but it's awesome.
Yeah. We have a great team. In fact, I'm proud to say that we have the best team at Ski-Doo. And each guy, they challenge each other. Okay, so if they don't like something, they don't can it, but the guy improve it, so eventually you like it, you know. So they are pushing each other, and this is the result of this. And once we think we have something strong, then we enlarge our circle. Okay, so now we talk with Steve, with Tony, okay, and we go around, and when they are happy, then we go a bit farther with this until we believe we have something in our hand. Yeah.
Well, for me personally, my career highlight is when the expert was even talked about. They brought us all to Valcourt, Quebec, and we had a round table session. And the idea was, dream it. You know, what do you want? And this was when the expert was being invented. And this gives us the opportunity to test things and push boundaries and put it out there to market.
Is there a back room in Valcourt of like ideas and concepts that were either ahead of their time or didn't work at the time or something, where you can like go into this back closet and pull this part out and be like, maybe I'll try that again. You know, maybe it just needed a different steering system to make it work.
Yeah.
I think
Go ahead.
there's, as Fred said, we work on the sled on different module. So sometimes we have a pretty good idea, but it just doesn't fit with the current sled, you know. So for sure we'd put that on a shelf and we like, you know, let's improve what doesn't feel right until we have something that we know works great. Then we add on this package, and then we come up with, let's say, a new sled that feels really balanced. So yeah, there's plenty of good stuff that we know it's great idea, but might be too expensive to throw on the sled, might not fit the right DNA. So yeah, the guys are creative. That's their passion. They love snowmobiling. They go out on the weekend and they think about that 24/7. So it's pretty easy to work with guys like that. You don't have to push them. You just have to, you know, try not.
Sometime hold them back, yeah.
Yeah, hold them back a bit because they go wild. So
Yeah.
makes our life easy.
Okay. Well, I've got a list of questions that I'm going to ask that I have just for you that hopefully are questions that maybe people watching this are thinking that they would love to ask you. And Fred, you mentioned that you might just kick Mathieu under the table on stuff that he can't answer. So if he, you know, his head shakes a little bit, he just got kicked in the shin. But and Tony, jump in. Steve, Justin, just jump in if anything comes to your mind on here. But my first question is, why did it take this long to convert the full mountain line to coilover?
But it did not take long. It took us 2 years only. So
Well, you turned it. Yeah, you turned it pretty quick. But why didn't we get into coilover stuff earlier?
you know, before to find a solution, okay, you need to have a problem. Okay, and we were not there yet. And as Mathieu said, the reason why we kick in the Coilover was a weight reduction. So we were after weight reduction. And sometimes things happen because of collateral things. Okay, so wanted to reduce the weight of the suspension. The team come out with saying, I think we will have to go Coilover. You know, we were not sure about it. And eventually the team did design the best Coilover out there. And it's the lightest and the best. And honestly, we were kind of very surprised, or not surprised, but happy with the end result. Okay, so we said, let's introduce it on the X because our problem was the weight. Okay, so let's introduce it on the X with a weight reduction and see how it goes. And honestly, we were expecting a good reaction, but the reaction was much better than what we thought.
So do you think that the coilover performs better also, or do you still think that the torsion spring setup?
I will not say better. I will say different. Okay, the coilover, it gives you that light feeling. Okay, and it's nothing to do with the weight of the suspension, but the reaction of the coilover is faster.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it due to friction? Okay, of the spring in the block and everywhere, but the reaction of the coilover is quicker, and this guy can feel it.
I think the coilover is a better setup.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
why didn't we do this earlier? But
Yeah, but it's not because it was not a good idea, but we were not there yet. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think that's one of the first things when we went out and rode the new sleds. We had the Expert and then the X, and I think everybody said the same thing. They really loved that rear skid and suspension on the X. So
It just changed the way the sled feels.
yeah, so immediately we were like, "Hey, can we take that? And maybe put it under the Expert." So
Yeah, we were asking you if you were selling kits.
yeah,
The coilover conversion kit.
Yeah.
For the accessory catalog.
Yeah.
Okay, so and Matthew, this one's for you. You have 3 DNA segments: Agile, X, Expert, Freeride.
Yep.
I can't remember what terms you guys have for it.
Agile.
Agile, precision,
Agile, precision,
capacity.
party mode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
If you had to create a 4th segment, what would you design?
All right, that's a trap.
Yeah.
Fred's kicking him under the table.
keep kicking.
Like, let's say in 2030, what would you?
Yeah. I honestly never thought about that. Like, I think we cover pretty much what we want to cover, and I feel like, let's say if you're new to the sport and you get in the sport, I think it's quite complex to figure out which sled fits you, what do you want to do, and I feel like we're hitting a spot where it's getting more clear, and the in-season sled follows, the spring orientation. So I feel like now it's more clear for people. So I don't think I would throw another tower in that. I would just try to refine what we have and make it even more clear for people.
Yeah,
That's a quite good answer.
that was approved.
No, seriously, Mathieu is right. I think with the 3 pillar we have now, we cover a wide band of usage.
I think it's smart. I think it's confusing. I really do. You start looking at all the different sled lines because we see so many different ones, and there's a point at which you're like, I don't know, like, is it the XXF, or like across all the different lines? And I think as a consumer, I think it's overwhelming because
it's overwhelming because you can't go test them.
Yeah,
you have to decide what you're buying without trying them out. And I think demo rides need to come back. I think that would be helpful. But
hey guys, Dan Adams here with Next Level Riding Clinics. Sitting here in the front part of this trailer, there's just so many memories that I've had with these trailers and with Trails West as a company. These guys are just born and bred snowmobilers, and they just think the way we do, and I love knowing that each and every day that I hook onto one of these things and go ride.
This has been an evolution with Skidoo for 6 years of like explaining this to people, getting them to understand this concept. And I think you've done a good job with that. But it's hard as a consumer to decide which deep snow sled you're going to buy without being able to throw a leg over it.
It's good. Like what you just said, I'm just reiterating that it has got so much easier in the last few years because each segment has such a defined role now. The Expert is like high consequence, precision terrain. The Summit X is like, to me, the guy that's burning all 10 gallons in the 3s, wants to do this huge adventure, but wants still to have energy to ride tomorrow. And then the guy with the backwards hat on that's just searching jumps. It's going to buy the free ride.
Yeah, and the clarity in those different divisions are awesome. What you guys are doing, because I think as a consumer, I mean, we've even had options sometimes inside those options. So you get in there and it's like, yeah, you can get this one, and you can also get it with this shock and with a different ski. And I think as a consumer, we're just like, I don't know, and you don't get to ride them, so you're gonna fork out a ton of cash for something that you have no idea what difference those make. And because a lot of the average consumers, I think that's pretty foreign, for sure. So
Yeah, because if you've never even ridden an S or the KYB 36 package, you don't know what the upgrade to a 40 is.
Well, hopefully the dealers are educated enough to understand, which, if they have a new buyer coming in, which sled are they going to direct them into?
I think there's a handful of dealers that definitely
There
are.
is.
But I think there's a handful of dealers that don't.
Correct, but our customers are pretty savvy about information, so they listen at the media, at you guys, and all what you're saying. So it's growing, I would say, actually. So the people start to understand better what that is best for their need. Yeah. and their capacity.
Okay. Next question. Sell me on why the 16 wide track concept is still the better overall. Way to do
Come
things.
ride in British Columbia on a really snow day.
Okay, yeah. So if that's it, like if
Exactly. In a chest deep day that happen once or 3 times a year, you want that track, okay? Because that will be the day you will recall for 5 years. And there's day that we go on with our vehicle, and the competition they get stuck in our trench. So, and that's not a joke. So the 16-inch track, flotation, the crawling when you go slow, the how I should say, if you don't have the full momentum, okay, you can realign yourself and repunch. So it gives you sometimes this forgiveness that you don't have with a 15.
So the extra inch of width, what does that equal to in length?
Bigger footprint. Like what is the calculation?
It's about we have 146, 154, 165. It's about the same gap if you go 15 to 16.
So a Summit X or Summit Expert 154 is equal to the other brand's 165 in footprint?
Yeah, correct. And our free ride are 15-inch, so we can talk about it knowing what's the consequences. Yeah. We feel that the 15-inch track is a more momentum driver than the others. So, but at the end, it's the decision of the customer.
So there's no plan. I mean, 16s are here to stay on those two categories. Like that is just part of the Ski-Doo DNA, right?
Yeah. Today, this is what we see in our crystal ball.
Because your tracks, even though it's a 16 wide track, so that's an interesting point. Because if you're saying that our 54 16 wide is equal in footprint to a 15 wide 165, but
it's lighter.
Your 54 is not that much heavier than another 54.
Exactly.
It's actually the same.
Exact. Because there is the footprint, if I may say, and there is a lug. So it's two different things. Okay. You need the flotation and you need the propulsion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Mm.
But the other aspect of that too is you wind up with a wider tunnel.
Yeah, you're right.
And do you ever get any feedback about that? Like the wider tunnel, does it hang up more in the snow? Is there anything to being wider versus narrower? Because the free ride still runs the same tunnel width.
Yes.
Yep.
It just runs the narrower track.
Yeah, correct. Mm.
So does that impact the flotation or deep snow mobility? The wider tunnel?
No, in fact, in absolute, yes. Okay, but we were the first to have the short tunnel. Okay, and the way we arrange, the rear of the tunnel, so it does not get stuck in the snow. I recall when we launched the Expire back in the day with the short tunnel, we were sometimes, with the old tunnel and snow flap, you were trenching, and at one point you knew it's time to turn, okay, because you're gonna get stuck. And since we cut it, okay, it's keep going. It's amazing. Sometimes the trench depth you can see, you can almost walk in. There was a picture of you last year with.
Well, I remember that red and white Expert when it first came out. Like that was the first time where I was going into a spot and got pinched off and just kept the throttle on and wheelied it and pulled it back around.
I recall I was there when we introduced it to you, okay, and you were skeptic, okay, because we were in your garage and we were explaining you what we're coming with, and you said, that's all. And we went out, and you at the end of the day, the mindset has changed.
Yeah, it's an evolutionary step in mountain riding, like what you're able to go out and do on the snow, because now you can, up until that point, you're like, okay, I'm either going to get stuck or I'm going to have to find a big place to turn around, like make a loop.
Yeah.
But now you can literally just pivot the thing. And now, like you were talking on this sled's even easier. You can probably turn around, like stand this thing up and just literally pirouette and come right back down.
In this little spot right here.
Yeah.
Him.
Let's see. We've already talked about the S32, the Gen 5. I had those on my list. The tracks. Let's talk about lug heights, since you mentioned that. So I'll ask you, ambassadors, Tony and Steve. What do you feel different on a 2.5-inch track versus a 3-inch on both an NA and a turbo?
For me, primarily, it's like from a dead stop or low momentum. Then you gain all that ground speed right back. Where like the 2.5-inch on the 146, the sled would dig down and then stand straight up, and you rode it there. But the 3-inch, it will, obviously it's a snowmobile, it's going to go in the snow a little bit, but you're gaining ground speed at the same time, and it'll like plane out on top of the snow. So it has like more control all of a sudden. That's what that's kind of what I was surprised about, because in my head I'm like, been asking, man, a 3-inch track would be cool in this. But I thought it would just be full wheelie everywhere, but that's not the case.
Just because it moves you forward.
Yeah, because you're gaining ground speed all of a sudden.
I hear people talk about, like, sometimes a 2.5 is more fun because you can stay further in the throttle because it's not hooking up as much.
Yeah, no, but with this new track here, it definitely it's in between, in my opinion. The 2.5 on like a 154, I push that hard because it's easier for people to control. In my opinion, you're getting less ski lift, so you can keep it full throttle and keep the sled in control. Versus a 3-inch, I feel like you're getting a lot more lift, especially on a side hill. If you're in really deep, wet, heavy snow, the 3-inch is going to dig down more. And when you're looking at it, if you're wheeling or over transferring, that 2.5 is not digging down as deep, so the rear skid is more planted, so you have more track surface area in the snow. But with this new track, I'm not seeing the aggressiveness as the older 3-inch.
Yeah, and it being that much lighter, that makes a big difference too.
It's nice being able to come to a stop. Like, with a 2.5-inch 146, you kind of had to be, even though it's a turbo, you couldn't just park in deep snow uphill. Or I guess you just held it wide open. Like you say, stand off, it'll wheelie its way out.
And you're talking about the 15 wide, and I'm talking about 2.5 on the 16 wide.
Gotcha. Yeah,
And
I don't have any experience with that.
Completely different track.
Yeah. Dude, but to be fair, I love the 2.5-inch 146. Like, I loved that track because, like, I was pretty hard on it, if I'm going to be honest. But and it was like kind of like the do-it-all track. But I'm riding this thing on deep days, and to have a 3-inch track on this short of a platform, and to be able to get going, if you hit a tree going uphill, you bump a tree with the ski. To be able to continue to go uphill, that's been a game changer.
Well, we could go real deep into tracks, but like I've ridden all over the world, and people even in coastal regions, you need to have a track. You don't need a 3-inch. You just need a 2.5-inch track in the coastal areas. That's in the mountains. I think or Colorado or Utah, it's a drier snowpack. That 3-inch is much better for that snowpack.
So what happens from an engineering standpoint inside the tunnel and around the drive shaft when you go from a 2.5 or 2.5-inch lug to a 3-inch lug?
We get for sure better cooling, so more snow projected. But I mean, there's no like real impact engineering wise on inside the tunnel.
Do you lose clearance though, and does that affect track speed when you're pushing more snow in through the tunnel?
I can say for sure, like I don't see drawback. The whole sled was designed to fit that height, that truck height. So it's it's pretty tight up there. But there's no like foresee drawback on having a higher lugs inside the tunnel.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about more of that Skidoo DNA, which is the steering setup, lay down steering. And some of the competition are more vertical post. Pros and cons to both, but you love this lay down steering setup. And like we talked about last night, Fred, like we bring this up never to say one's better than the other, and almost keep doing what you're doing because you're bringing so many people to Skidoo that love it the way it is. And if you were to change this to a different steering setup, it's no longer a Skidoo.
Exactly, and there's no mean today to change it. So we Skidoo team and our customer, we like the way it behaves. And at the end of the day, it's known that there is less fatigue on our machine than others. So this is our DNA, and this is what we want to keep. But Yeah.
So if somebody's listening and that's their hang up is like, well, I just like the vertical steering post. It just feels more like a mountain sled or whatever. What do you say to that?
I actually do not like the word lay down post.
Yeah.
I call it a direct post. So when I'm teaching people or taking people out riding, I explain it to them because they'll say, okay, what's the difference between a vertical and lay down post? And I'm like, no. It's a direct post. It goes from the handlebars straight to the ski linkage.
Great, yeah.
But
yeah,
if you look at
you do eliminate that
there's less
horizontal
moving
cross
parts.
rod.
It's instant. So if you want to drive a school bus like this, or do you want to drive a sports car, right?
So 100%.
So that's my selling point is like it's a direct post.
Yeah.
But if you look at a vertical post, and don't get me wrong, I rode cats back in the day. I rode a Polaris back in the day, and going from that direction to a Ski-Doo, it was like, wow, my shoulders are not tired. Like, there's certain things that you're like, this is way better, but you have less moving parts with the direct steering post versus a vertical steering post. You look at a vertical steering post, it goes down and it hits multiple linkages and then it goes to the steering.
Goes on this journey through the frame somewhere.
And you have all this playing, like it's loose. But if you get on one of our sleds, even like Carl Kuster's fleet, they get 4,000 kilometers, 4,000 to 6,000 kilometers a year on those sleds. And you go in there and the steering is tight.
Yeah, you just have to spend a couple hours on it. You'll get used to it, for sure.
Yeah. And in one of your previous shows, Steve gave you a good example of why you prefer this than the others. So yeah.
Which is why. You remember that? What you said about that?
No, I don't recall exactly, but the school bus takes
Yeah.
because that's what it is. When I get on another brand, that like I don't ride my bicycle like this either. The frame has built in, right? And then I heard another good point. Ride it like I think what I was talking about the last time we talked about this, when I'm standing on the running boards in a neutral position on something with vertical steering, like the downhill handlebar, it's like lower than the one that's right in my face. And then Carl was talking about when you're in the neutral position, then like you've lost all this range of motion. But with the direct steering, like Tony's talking about it, you never run out of that range of motion. And like with when you're out of a range of motion, the only way to open up your arm is to step off the side of the snowmobile. And I think that when the riding changed, 10, 15 years ago when that came out, everything was a lot slower. We didn't have turbos and we didn't have all this horsepower, and we were learning to ride this terrain. So we're going a lot slower, standing on the side of the snowmobile. Now we have 180 horsepower at 8,000 feet. Man, how much ground speed are you carrying on that thing? And do you want to be hanging off the side of it when it's going Mach 10? With your mullet flapping out of the back of your helmet?
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew, I want to see you show up here next year with a mullet.
Yeah.
Like grow it out.
Yeah, I'll ask my girlfriend. I'm sure she would like to know that.
We'll tell the people at the office to encourage him.
He'll show up with short hair and a black eye next year. No.
I think what really hurt our geometry of this direct steering, as I call it, is a lot of people were rotating the handlebars forward, thinking
messing that plane up.
and it
Trying to
totally
make it more
wrecks
upright.
the geometry.
Yeah,
like
we're
it's
going
got to
like
be
that.
perpendicular, not like this.
Yeah.
I like that direct steering. That's a good. You should send that over to the marketing department.
Should apply.
Yeah.
Should
Lay
apply
down
for
sounds a
marketing.
little lazy,
I really do. I hate the word lay down.
That's
steering
great.
post.
Yeah.
You could almost eliminate the riser. Now that you know better what works the best, eliminate the riser and have a fixed height post.
Yeah, but the riser gives the opportunity to customer
Yeah, you have to.
to tune his height. But you're right. Check this one, okay, how it is aligned, and this is the way you should ride.
Yeah.
As Tony mentioned, it's a good point. Some kids, okay, were loosening it and pushing it in front, so then you're not on the axis anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, and air sweeping. I've seen some Gen 5s with like some really long risers.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me
It's
started
like
on
that.
that.
Yeah.
Like, man, what are you doing? But yeah, that's fun. Fred, will you give us a rundown? We've talked about the Summit, the deep snow stuff. The Summit 600 though.
Yeah.
New engine.
Yes.
600 RR.
Yes, correct. We have a brand new engine this year. It's an evolution of our 600R, okay, that was inspired by the racing. So when we did introduce 850 back in 17, we had these boost injector that gives a better dynamic. Okay, so we from 27 the 600 will get these boost injector. We have new cylinder that are different port. So it's the ports are larger and it's a bit higher. So we went from 8100 to 8250 at peak power, and we gain 5 horsepower. We have now we claim 130 with measure. So we are always proud to claim our horsepower with fact. So we're gonna have 130 horse, 20% quicker reaction time when you hit the throttle. Okay, so the RPM goes fast at his peak, and we also will take 20% less oil. So we have a new oil that is coming too. So the XPS Max with the new formulation that is more modern, so will allow this 600R to take 20% less oil.
How does it do that? Like, how do you allow an engine to take less oil?
Yeah, but the engine has to be built to be efficient with less oil. The plasma coating we have is great for that. So the plasma in combination with the coating we have in the piston, you'll be amazed to look at the piston after 20,000 K, how nice they're looking using the XPS oil and now the Max, the XPS Max. So and that XPS Max can be retro-usable on the older engine without any drawback. So yeah, so and our crankshaft, the rod, and everything has been designed around using less oil. So we have more response, more power. We use less oil, and also we introduce a couple of new fun feature on like an eco mode, which is the first time ever on two-stroke. So and it's an intelligent eco mode. It's not just a limitation. It's really the mapping is done to reduce the fuel consumption, so it feels smoother from the get-go, and for sure you have less power. But if you want to overtake someone on a lake, okay, you just keep it pinned, and eventually you will get the approximately 85% of the power, and so you will be able to overtake someone without having to switch the mode. Yeah.
And then on the trail side of things, with that new motor, you've got the smart stop technology.
Correct. We call it the silent stop. Okay. It's a bit like in your car when you arrive at the light and you push the brake. Okay, the engine is stopping. It's the same thing, and we start to play around that 3-4 years ago already. And once you get used to that, okay, you don't want to ride anymore without it, because you just stop at and you talk with your friend, okay, having the ride, and you just hold the brake. You don't have to hold it very strongly. It's just the switch that you need to squeeze.
The brake light switch, right? You just need to activate
Correct.
that. That's
Exactly.
all the tension you need.
Exactly. And then the engine shut off. And once you're done talking, you just release the brake. Okay, the lights stay on, everything stay on. So if you are on the trail in the night, the people will see you even though your engine is stopped. So you don't have to pull on the kill switch or to replug your tether. You just let the brake go and boom, it restart. So it's quite a neat feature.
That's an industry first.
Yes, yes.
But it uses like a mechanical electric start, not shot.
Yeah, today we offer it on electric start on the trail 600R. Yeah.
Okay. Talk about the booster injectors a little bit more, because like when we went to Austria toward the Rotax factory, one of the coolest things we saw was how the E-Tech injector was made and just how like precise that is.
Yep.
So the E-Tech engines are direct injection through the E-Tech injector.
Yep.
But the booster injector, what does that do and where's it located?
Yeah, so the E-Tech injector are on top of the head, so it's a high pressure injection. The way it works, okay, so it injects the fuel in the cylinder with high pressure just before the piston arrive at the top, so at the right time to get the best efficiency and everything. So, and this is very good, okay, but in transition, you know, when you want to accelerate, to have some more homogeneous mixture, it helps you to rave faster. And this is what the boost injector gives you. So when you want to have power right now, okay, you have that fume that goes across the throttle body and get fully homogeneous, so you get a strong spark, strong power in a faster time. Yeah.
So you're just adding more fuel into the intake tract.
Yes.
Atomizing it through the transfer ports.
Correct.
And then that's that's combining with the direct injection through
Exactly.
the
So
cylinder head.
they are working together. Okay, the computer knows that when the boost injector open, you need to reduce the amount of fuel that goes from the direct injector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You raced 600s, right? Pro class was 600. You were racing?
Yeah, I was there for the transition.
So you did race 440s.
Yeah, and 800. It was 440s one day, 800 mods the next day. It was huge. It's like two different planets.
Yeah, the days of racing 440s was crazy.
Yeah.
But man, the mod class back then there was wild because like you're talking about, like you go from this 440 that makes a lot of noise and then just kind of moves.
Yeah.
And then mod day, open mod, and it was anything goes, like watercraft engines,
Yeah,
or whatever,
exactly,
whatever these guys could pull up with and bolt into a sled chassis.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was the horsepower of that open mod?
200 horsepower at the crank. They were insane. Full race gas. Yeah, but now we have 180 on pump gas. It's crazy. But they were wild.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I remember trying to take it like a 440 long track sled, mountain riding. And that, because I raced Snowcross a little bit, so I would always have a 440, a little older than you. So I'd have a 440 in the fleet, and then spring riding would come around. And I'd take the 440 in the ride just so when you get up there and you find the big jumps, I mean, big for my taste, not Steve Martin big, but you could go up there and jump your Snowcross sled. But man, a 440 at 8,000 feet did not do much.
No, my dad, I used to have a practice sled at home. It was a 440, and my dad got so tired of trying to make it run at 10,000 feet. It's like,
Yeah.
So then we just started putting 800s with single pipes in them, so they would run at 10,000 feet. It was less headache for my dad.
Just so you could go practice.
Yeah, so I wouldn't come home and say this sled didn't run right.
Well, this 600 RR is pretty cool. So
Yes.
so the 600 RR is found in the Summit Adrenaline.
Yeah, correct. All the 600R in 27 are sweep with the 600R. Scandic, MXZ, Enduro, all. There will be no more 600R. It's all 600R for the same price as the 600R.
Okay, so no price increase. Oh
No.
yeah, because that was part of the presentation was like
Yeah.
here's this reduction in fuel consumption,
Yes.
reduction in oil consumption, overall reduction in cost of operation and ownership. And we're
Correct.
not going to charge you more for it.
More
Exactly.
power.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that new oil will be the same price as the current oil.
And you can run that oil in anything,
Anything.
but your oil, if you run it in your 850, you're not going to get a reduction in oil consumption because it has to do
The
with
mapping,
calibration. And
the mapping is still done for the current XPS.
yeah.
And when will that oil be available?
It will be available at the same time as sled, somewhere mid of the summer. Yeah, we tested. In fact, the sled you rode yesterday, we're having it.
Well, I noticed in December they were adding different oils.
Yeah, the blue one, and honestly, when you go over the Bricken, okay, and the smell is significantly reduced. Yeah, with that new one. Yeah.
That's good.
What about the harmonics? You guys mentioned that as a pretty key point. What was kind of the driver behind?
Hey, thank
the
you for
harmonics?
bringing that.
Well, I think it's cool because like I do actually care how a sled
Yeah.
sounds. Like you want it to sound
Yeah.
cool, you know. So
The 600R, okay, is known for let's say, the best-in-class efficiency, durability, and all that. But we were told sometimes that we were a bit beige, okay, a bit, to Toyota Corolla. You know, it's reliability first, but the feeling is maybe not always there. So our NVH team did a great job. So they redesigned the intake, the exhaust. So now they have a better feel, okay, at the operator level, with matching the regulation. So the sled is not noisier for the environment, but the feel that the driver has is different. And encourage you to try it. You see it, and when it passes by you at slow speed, you can hear it too. That
It honestly, it feels like a mod motor.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
yeah, I like it too.
And
It
the
sounds
power,
cool
the
with
power comes on instantly.
Yeah, this is the boost injector.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an impressive 600. It's underestimated.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, when we were in Austria, and I was telling you about this, Fred, Madeline, in the MVH department.
Yeah.
So when she was talking to us about how this all works, and so Steve and I went into the room where the MVH does all of its testing, and it's a soundproof room. Like you can hear your brain like flexing inside your head. Yeah, the weirdest feeling ever. Like you could torture people just locking them in that room. But the engine set up on this dyno, and then it's completely isolated from the intake, which is on the other side of the wall. The exhaust is down and out of the way, like away from the engine, so that they can create this visual 3D map of sound and vibration, harmonics, and everything from an engine, and not to reduce it and keep making it quiet, but to make it sound cool where it needs to sound cool, make it sound like a two-stroke where it needs to sound like a two-stroke. I don't know. That was fascinating.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. We are lucky to have Rotax with us, and they have a full dedicated team on two-stroke. So yes, it's beneficial for Ski-Doo and the customer eventually.
Yeah. Rotek's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got the kart champion down there.
That's right. Undefeated.
Yeah. But once I found out you came back and that during that whole thing, you were like on the App Store buying credits so that you had more boosts.
I just took advantage of every opportunity. It's not my fault you didn't read the rules.
That's definitely the racer in you, because I thought we were just getting on the track and racing. You were like boost every 15 seconds.
Yeah, as soon as one stopped, I boost again.
You were there to race. Steve was there to win.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just like, because they told us that on this is the electric carts, and they told us that, okay, we take your body weight and how big you are and everything, and we adjust the car to compensate, so everybody's equal. And I'm like, my car is not as fast as Steve. Like, there's no way I'm going as fast as him. He's lapping me on 4 laps in.
If I would have known they weighed you before, I would have went and got weights. I would have weighed 20 pounds. I would have, I got weighted down. You have to take every, if you're not cheating, you're not trying or something,
But if he lap you inside the 4 lap, I don't think it's only the power. Driving.
I was doing everything I could to corner as fast as possible without like slipping the tires.
I was so concentrated the entire time, though.
Oh yeah.
I knew the fast line.
You were on a mission.
100%.
Yeah, no, that was an experience. But I missed the 2-stroke carts.
You did miss out. That was.
I thought you had a try of it the last trip you went.
But he showed up the day later. So
and we
I
flew
did
into
it
Germany.
Okay.
So we flew into Munich and drove to Wales, and these guys came into Vienna, and so they did the 2-stroke carts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the DD2s.
Yeah.
They were incredible.
Yep.
Going 80 miles an hour, and you just you have to get the tires warm a couple laps.
It's amazing. Okay, you turn and you say, I'm not turning here, and it turned.
It turns. You're going so fast, you just have to trust that it's going to stick to the road.
Exactly.
It's the closest thing to like a Formula One car that the mortal man will ever get.
Well, and that's kind of it's kind of the entry level of Formula One, right?
That's where a lot of kids start.
Kind of thing. Like what's his name? Max Verstappen. Like he probably raced those things.
Yeah, he was a kart champion.
Yeah.
Was he? Yeah.
That's
where I saw it
Rotax is the biggest motorsports organization in the world. Like I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but it's crazy. They're all over Europe and running those spec carts. And they're rocket ships.
But it's built for guys like you. Like
No.
I sit there and watch you corner, and like you're just tucked in, and you just barely move on those corners. And I come into those corners, and I'm like, whoa.
They don't even make cars built for you.
They do.
No, they don't.
They had a DD2 because I would. They're hard. I mean, it takes a lot of physical strength to drive them. You get tired.
Yeah.
So we had like 6 of them and like 10 of us, and so we'd get out of the carts, and the next group would get in. But if people were getting tired, so I would just stand up. Someone would get in my cart, and I would stand there. And wait for one to be empty, and I'd get in it. But I got in one time, and I was like, I just drove it anyway, but I was sitting at the edge of my seat, and I could barely push it wide open. I was like, this is a Ryan Harris cart right here.
I was going to ask you, how'd you cheat on those ones?
No, you can't. The cart exceeded my ability, for sure.
Man, that was fun. Yeah,
it was incredible.
That was a memorable trip. All right. You guys have anything else you want to talk over?
What is the color called again?
It's ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet 2?
Yeah, 2.
Because do you remember the Formula 3 that came out? It's the same color.
It's
incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think that was so cool. I remember
That'd be 98?
95.
95 Formula
yeah.
3?
I remember having a
three-cylinder,
cardboard
three-pipe.
cutout of it at the shop.
Yeah.
I wish I still had that. Like, this is like the coolest color we've ever
I
had.
love this color.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, I like that.
That's all I had.
Ultraviolet.
That's a good point.
You can tell on the photos that color looks really good along with the orange, but
Yeah.
it looks phenomenal on the snow. So.
Yeah, that'll look cool with like a little bit of orange and yellow in it.
I think it looks
Like the Formula 3 had.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's great. Oh, the gauge. The updates to the 10.25 color touchscreen.
Yes.
What have you done there? Because you just keep refining that and improving that and making group ride a little bit better.
Correct. So there's many things that we're improving that allow you to, sometime your friend is going out of the screen. Okay, so you had to de-zoom to see where he was. Now you have a arrow that tells you, okay, Steve is towards this way. So you
That
don't
would have
have
been handy last March,
Yeah.
a year ago.
Yeah, for sure.
and this will be available. In fact, once your customer will listen that podcast, it will be already available. So if you have a 26, you can go and over the air the new update. So for free. Yeah.
And then I heard the guy that was at dinner with us last night talking about the other riders that are in other groups that show up on your screen, but they're not in your group. Their dots are a little smaller, so they don't
Correct.
take up as much space.
So
on
if
the trail.
if there is other skidoo in the area, okay, you're gonna see them with a black circle, and if they want to be part of your group, then they pop in colors. Yeah. So it's
and it's super easy to join a group, right?
it is honestly myself. Okay, I'm not the top gig on all these things, but to set up a group on that, it's 4-digit, and you're in, and it's locked in the entire winter. If you have a group of friends, you don't have to reprogram it each weekend. The group is there, so soon you join them. Okay, you go in, and Mathieu, you can add any comment there. But this thing, we knew that it take us some time, okay, to get there. But now with what we have, when it's come to group ride and easy to use, it is easy. And our screen is big, so to see all this color dot, for me, it's I'm a bit anxious, okay, when I'm missing one of the team member and we are calling, okay, where he is, and I don't like it. Now, when you see the dot is moving, good thing,
Yeah.
So
And I always, my conversation always goes into lightweight stuff. So I'm always like, yeah, just give me the small 4.5-inch screen. But
yeah,
I do think that I like that. Like I think it's good to have that bigger gauge. I did like seeing when we were with groups and you're riding around and you always have this thought in the back of your head, like I need to have eyes on everybody. I just need to know where everybody's at. And at least there, now I can see, yep, there's Steve. He's still moving. And he's over here. Like it's easy to go find your group and stay connected without without having to worry about stuff.
correct. And if he's stop, okay, you will see his circle will be white with his initial in. So the last time you've seen him is there, so you can go and see. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those.
And for sure, when we do claim weight, it's always with a smaller gauge. But I think this it's work. But at the end of the day, you do. This is your personal preference. But where we are now, it's I would not go on without it. So
how far are we from all the brands talking to each other?
Just had to throw.
Well, somebody watching this is thinking that
I
right
know.
now. Like,
And that's a fair question. That's
Yeah.
a fair
It is.
question.
As a customer, I would like that everyone can see everyone. Okay, but it's not that easy. Now that let's say if we can be all at par in terms of technology, then maybe it will be easier. Okay, so there will be less and less an advantage of not wanting to do it, if I may say.
But
So-
can't you imagine how fun this is going to be? Like you can have you could have the Polaris show up as pirate flags, skull and crossbones. You know? And then you could have that background music start playing in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it coming though? Like, is it coming? Like, is this what we're working towards as an industry for a safety aspect? Is to have all these things talk to each other?
I don't know.
Okay, Matthew, kick him.
It's a sensitive topic, and
Yeah, it is, and I have to bring it up because we just get that like anytime we show the gauge or talk about the gauge or anybody's gauge, the 7S or the G8 or your gauge, that's the number one comment about that. It's just like, why can't these things talk to each other?
Yeah. Fair point. So I take note.
You got any other comments, Tony?
Yeah, Fred. What out of your 34 years at BRP? What is your career highlight?
Career highlight, I would say the 850. Okay, the 850. I mean, there's a few highlights, but and the 850 because I was in Austria to make it with the team over there for 2.5 years.
But that's because in your mind, and you already knew on paper that there was a turbo coming, a factory turbo coming to that motor.
Yeah, we did a roadmap back in the day, okay, of what we want the engine family look like, from the 600 EFI till the 850 turbo, okay. So and we start to design it around that goal, yeah. And we knew we were gonna add 2-step in the power of the turbo, and we knew that there will be a shot coming. So all this was made. We did the roadmap in something 2011, 12.
That's
crazy.
incredible. Yeah,
like
see that
6
right
years
there.
before released.
Yeah.
That gives the consumer how much homework was done before it was to their hands.
Well, and so then the next step is to make that connection of there's that equal thing happening right now for 6 years from now.
Maybe.
I hope so.
No, I can remember when the 20.5 release was done, and we went out a little bit before media got to see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And me and Fred were down in the trees and really deep snow day up in Yellowstone, and he just kind of looked at me and he's like, "My project, it's done. It's here." Like it was like this big weight off his chest that it just it's now here to the public. Like how many years he had to keep that like in this little teeny knit circle.
Yep. I recall. I still have the picture of you standing in your trench. It was like this. Yeah, I recall that day exactly. And you're right. You work on something for 5, 6, 7 years that you cannot say a word. So
it's got to be hard.
Yes.
I was telling Fred about our conversation with Roland Ensman about the turbo.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Like, and from Roland's perspective of just being like assigned this project of like, hey, we're going to do a turbo charger on this 852 stroke. Go figure it out. And he's just like, what? Where do I start? You know. But he sat there and talked about that process and how they developed that and how they came up with the variable system to make the wastegate work and get rid of any of the fluttering and make that sled feel like a stocker NA at the bottom and then smoothly transition to a turbo at the top. Like it's fascinating. Fascinating to hear that conversation.
It was, yeah.
We need to get him over here too.
We should, yeah.
yeah.
It was a good story.
Yes.
You got any other questions, Tony?
No, I think that was a good one.
You got any questions, Steve?
No.
Oh, come on, Steve.
Nothing? You're trying to stay on their good side.
Yeah, exactly. You've already pushed the limit.
That's his job, though.
I get
true.
to deal with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You got anything, Justin?
I don't really have any more questions, but it's been kind of an interesting year with our podcast because we did the Rotax podcast and kind of got to see some photos, maybe a little inside scoop on that, and then also the factory stuff. And I guess for me, I had no idea that the organization and the amount of work that goes into that was quite to the level of what you guys do. So I've always thought Skidoo has the very best fit and finish. And everything always seems so complete and thought through, but then you see that and you're like, oh, well, that makes sense because you've got a lot going on. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it gives you a lot of, as a consumer, I think it gives you a huge, a lot of confidence knowing that what you're producing has really been thought through. And then to listen to Mathieu and stuff, it's really fun to hear your perspective on it because obviously he's smart, he understands, and he's passionate about the industry. So it's cool.
And he's an excellent rider.
He is.
He's a phenomenal rider.
Yeah,
He's super fun to ride with.
It was about time that they have a project manager that is a good rider.
The entire engineering team, they're really good riders.
No, they all are, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a difference. You don't understand. I don't think you can understand it from the outside.
No.
I really
No,
don't.
no.
So
You
No.
need to get your hands in it, and we ride like 20, 25 days during the winter while doing the engineering. So, you need to be out there in the mountain and feel it. And when it feels right, usually it's because we're on a good path to something.
So when you started mountain riding, like there has to be a first time that you went, and then obviously the learning curve to
Yeah.
getting there. What were you thinking? Like I picked the wrong job. Like,
Oh, no.
Like this sucks. Like I can't
No.
breathe.
Not at all. No, I started mountain snowmobiling actually in my first year at BRP, and I was traveling like personal prior to working for Ski-Doo. So I was, going from Quebec to Revelstoke and spend like 2-3 weeks during the winter there. So I was, already up to speed when I joined the engineering team. But they are good riders, and I mean, riding with those guys, with the pro, is like it's a bit of a dream come true. And you think you're good, then you go out with these guys, and you're like, I still have some work to do. So, but it's good to have those feedback. Was talking with Blaine, and he says like, I'm not even thinking, I'm just reacting to what's in front of me. So. I was like, I think way too much. That's like, yeah, but it's good. It's good to be there with those guys, and during the year, like Tony texts me when he have an idea, and all those guys have my numbers, so we exchange information, and it's really helpful to have an insight from these guys as well.
But has that helped you in the progress, like your learning experience and your because everybody's on a different level of progression. Like we're still learning. Like Steve, you probably still learn things.
For sure. Yeah.
And so you're figuring things out and how to do things and making connections and light bulbs are going off. Is that part of the process? Is like, oh man, if I could make the sled do this, if I made this little change, this sled could do this, and that would like you coming up with cool stuff like that.
No, definitely. We try stuff, and when we do engineering tests, is usually not, I would say, that fun where you just side hill and not pretty good condition to fill the suspension. Everything feels great in chest deep snow, right? So we go back and forth in those trench section, and when you're getting better and better, when you try a new setup and you're suddenly better, it's just easier than you're like, okay, I want this now because it makes me a better rider, and that's what we're chasing. We want people that ride 10, 15 days during winter, that they are better the next year because they have a different sled, and it makes their life easier. They have more energy, and at the end of the day, they enjoy their day. So that's the end goal.
And that's interesting that you're talking about, like when you go out as engineers and test, like you're going out and not having just like a fun joyride. Like you're going out and targeting one specific characteristic and trying to improve on it over and over.
Yeah.
That's probably something that everybody doesn't really realize. Like your job would be like a dream job. You just go play ride all the time. But no, you're out there with an agenda. You're trying to figure stuff out, working on the next stuff.
Yeah. They are not allowed to laugh.
I've noticed that. No smile.
But not only that, like, they have to figure out the failure point of something too.
Yeah.
Yeah, durability, guys. You guys have any questions? I've asked them if they have questions.
I'm fine.
They have the answers. No clue.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't have this sled sitting in front of us if it was up to me being an engineer. We'd still be running carburetors and trailing arms. Yeah. That's impressive because the engineer, your team is like 50 guys, right?
Yeah, we've got like 50 people back home working like very hard to make it happen. Every part is engineered. There's a drawing. We do like work with manufacturer to make them happen. We push their own limits. Sometimes we go at the manufacturer and solve the manufacturing of the parts with them. We help them develop and push their technology. So there's a big group of people that just pushing every corner, everything they have to make that sled lighter. We have an internal rule. If you want to do a project on a summit, it needs to be better. It needs to be lighter. Otherwise, we're not going to put your project on the sled. So, yeah,
that's awesome.
It's challenging for sure. Yeah. But people like it. When you come up with an idea and you make it on the sled, it's like big achievement. So
It's rewarding.
Oh,
as an
yeah,
engineer.
it is. It is. Yeah.
Yes.
And we promote that, so it's kind of cool.
We have a privilege to be here in front of you, but without the team back home, the sled will not be there. So it's
Well, and I got you guys invited me out there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I got to go out and tour the factory and meet most of the team. I think most of the team came into that
Yeah.
one meeting, and
Yeah.
and that was really cool to like actually see all the people behind the scenes that are working on this stuff.
correct.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just impressive, you know. And I'm sure there's a reason why you're like, bring Ryan out here. Let's take him to the Rotax factory. Bring him out to the Skidoo factory.
Yes.
Like so everybody can see that and then go tell that story of like what's going on behind the scenes.
Correct. And BRP is a strong company. We are number one now in the power sport. So one out of 3 vehicles that are sold out there, one is a BRP in the entire power sport business. So yeah.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
Yeah, that is raw.
I got a question for Matthew.
All right.
So I get a lot of messages or emails from, could be a young individual, and he'll ask, "How do I get my foot in the door to work for a company like BRP? Like, what steps does this kid that's in high school that his dream is to design the free ride? He's trying to think of those processes. Which college does he need to go to? What are the steps after that to get into the engineering door at BRP?"
So for engineering, I think you need to be passionate because it's countless hour. So you need to really focus on power sport. What I did is basically I did mechanical degree, and I was involved in a student project. So I was building race car at university, and everything that I could do to learn about mechanic, I did it. So I used to have a old Olympic snowmobile. I used to have motocross. So everything related to mechanic, I was trying to get my hands on it so I understand how it works. And then I was just trying to get, I would say, like different experience from other people. So I went in Europe working for a race shop to learn from racing in Europe. So I was trying to pick up everything I could to build kind of a portfolio. So when I drop a resume, let's say for BRP, I'm this guy that did a lot of stuff and went explore a lot of things, just really curious about everything. So it really helped me to get in at BRP. And I took the job that was available and make my way up to Skidoo, I was just not, I want to work at Skidoo and I don't want to work for Can-Am or stuff like that, So I started for the accessory group, so building accessory for side-by-side and slowly make my way up to Skidoo and just building, my knowledge about mountain riding on my own. Then when I drop a resume to Fred, it's like, oh, this guy can ride and actually know what is a snowmobile. So just easier that way.
Correct.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask you guys the same question. What does it take to become a Skidoo ambassador? Like get the attention and get noticed?
So I came into the picture long time ago, and so did Steve. And for the new generation that's coming in, there's a ton of talent out there, but you need to put credibility to the name. For me, I can remember the day I was in your office telling you need to start a social media page, and you just kind of laughed at me. Do you remember this conversation?
I remember that. Yeah, that was a lot. I mean,
I think
that was ages
in
ago.
2012 or 13.
Yeah, because then we started the SnoWest Facebook page. It was before that. It was quite a bit.
Yeah, it
before
was
that.
a long time ago. But
Yeah.
I seen the writing on the wall of social media was going to take over and consume everybody's lives, and you need to have a face with what you do and the passion. And so if you have this new generation coming in, you need to put the work out there. It's going to be harder than it ever is. Get a YouTube channel. I think YouTube is probably the most important thing right now, and then obviously Instagram, Facebook. But put good stuff out there, good content. Be creative.
What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, same thing, creativity. And you don't have to go out and hurt yourself.
Well,
yeah.
Spoken from the guy who is probably the most creative ambassador out there.
Yeah, I have to scratch in my head. I'm like, gosh, dang it. I give up. I'm not competing against this content.
Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know if this is going to work out, but
Yes,
But it's also important to have some credibility behind your name. Like,
yeah, I came from, years and years of racing, and the one thing I see is like, you don't need to go hurt yourself and be the guy jumping the biggest jump on Instagram. That's not what it's about. It's about knowing the product and being passionate about it. Like, even if I wasn't affiliated with Ski-Doo, I love the product, and I have since I was a little kid. So like, I immerse myself in it.
So do you just post stuff and then like hear feedback, or do you have to run stuff through Ross?
Oh, I just
we
post
have,
and hope.
we have the green light.
I always just like, I post something and like I just wait for a phone call. I wonder how this is going to go.
I think I've only had a couple phone calls back when Cowing was in charge of us, and I would look at my phone like, oh no.
This could be good, really good or really bad.
But no, people just make it fun, and I don't know. It's hard. It is hard. It's a small industry, very small industry.
But there's a lot of work that goes into being an ambassador. Like, you guys have to
Yeah.
travel, you have to commit to doing shows and events, and you got to show up.
It's a great opportunity though.
Yeah, I'm going to tell everybody right now, make sure that you have a real job if you want to become an ambassador, because there's no money to be made in an ambassadorship.
Yeah.
they work hard, okay, and they deserve what is happening to them. We like to work with them, but it's tough. It's a tough thing.
I like how you phrase that. They deserve what is happening to them.
They work for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Man, we're 2 hours into this thing. This might be a new record.
Yeah. Maybe you're gonna have to do part 1, part 2. I don't know how you're gonna manage this, but
Well,
yeah.
we talked about doing that, and I just laying in bed last night. I was like, nope, just one show. We'll just let it run 2 hours long. Like people drive. People got to drive.
Yeah.
Don't get the whole thing in. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this episode. A lot of good information here that you're not going to find anywhere else. Speaking of information, if you subscribe to SnoWest Magazine right now, you'll still get the March 2026 issue, which is going to have all the information, all the technical specs, even more insider information, more photos, just a lot of great information in that March issue of SnoWest Magazine. So go to snowwest.com right now, hit that subscribe button, get signed up. You can sign up for 1 year, 3 year, 5 year programs, and get that magazine. And we'll just mail this thing to your door. And it's loaded with great photos of these guys jumping sleds. We had Mathieu on the cover this last year.
Yeah.
We've had Fred in there.
That's right.
It's just fun. Like there's no reason that you shouldn't have that magazine coming to your door.
No, and I love flipping through magazines.
Same.
I'm so sick of the technology. Like, just give me something paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you imagine like the coolest photo that you see on Instagram, like that's 2.5 inches wide. Imagine that thing being like 14 inches
spread.
wide, and just seeing all the colors and the clarity, and being able to go back and look at it again, because once you swipe past it, it's gone.
Oh, I keep them, and I'd like to smell the magazine.
Yeah.
You know, when you receive it, it's like
Yeah.
it's like Christmas. Okay,
It's like
so-
having cash.
It's a different experience.
Yeah, cash is king. Magazines are king. Yeah, yeah. So go to snowwest.com and get signed up. Yeah, we've got a lot of cool changes coming for this upcoming season as well. First issue comes out in September after this March issue, of course. So the first issue will come out late August. That'll be our September issue, and it's gonna be different. It's gonna look different and have a lot more content in it, a lot more detailed stuff. So go on there and sign up. Check out our merchandise lineup. We got T-shirts, hats. We got hoodies coming out. We're sold out of a lot of stuff, but we're working on the next batch of stuff. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, get notifications. The more subscribers we have, the more of these we can keep doing, the more access we have to guys like Fred and Mathieu. And just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We appreciate you watching, appreciate all the guests coming in. And thank you so much, Fred Desjardins, Mathieu Hamel, Steve Martin for making the drive up, Tony for guiding us yesterday and then getting us back down here on time this morning, and
Yeah.
Justin for all the time you put in to keeping this stuff going and co-hosting every single episode that we do here. Always showing
It's
up.
fun. It's fun.
But yeah, thanks y'all for coming in, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next episode. Thanks.